You've come up with a great idea, so now it's time to make it happen. But hang on just a minute. Before you start to build, bake, code, paint, craft, or otherwise create what it is you want to sell, you first need to flesh out your vision and get some feedback on it. Your next step isn't to develop your product, but to develop your offer. That's a detailed description of what it is you want to bring to life. Your offer should be simple and saleable. It should be simple enough that you can execute it within a month or two. It should be saleable so that it attracts customers at a price they're able and willing to pay. Work up your offer into a detailed, persuasive pitch you can use to market your product or service. We're not talking about a high-stakes presentation for millionaire investors like you see on TV. Your pitch is simply a clear, compelling description of what you have to offer and how it will help the people who buy it. Your pitch should communicate, first of all, the problem your side hustle solves or the opportunity it creates. It should describe what exactly your side hustle is, your product or service. It should also include the benefits your product or service creates and the reason people need your product or service, not 10 years down the road, but right now. It should create a sense of urgency. And finally, it should include the price. Notice that the price comes last. Very few businesses compete successfully on price. Your pitch should emphasize the value of what you have to offer and what makes your side hustle different from other offerings on the market. Practice giving your pitch to friends and family until you're comfortable with it. And ask them for honest feedback so you can revise it until it's irresistible. You can use the Prep Your Pitch tool to develop your detailed offer and get some preliminary feedback on it. Ideally, that feedback would include input from a mentor, an experienced entrepreneur who has run a side hustle or a business similar to what you envision. How do you find a mentor? Ask friends, family, and professors for introductions to people they think might be interested in your side hustle. You want someone who shares your interests but isn't a direct competitor. For instance, remember Carl, whose side hustle was selling sandwiches? Well, a good mentor for him might be someone who has run a successful juice bar, someone who's in the food industry but doesn't make sandwiches. You don't require a mentor to launch a side hustle. But there's no substitute for being able to access someone else's experience. A wise mentor can share stories of their entrepreneurial journey, the steps that made them successful, as well as some of the bumps they've encountered along the way. After you've developed your offer and gathered feedback on it, your next step will be to take care of any financial and legal requirements for running your side hustle. Since you're keeping things simple, these shouldn't be too daunting, but it's important to handle them early on so you don't run into nasty surprises as you head toward launch mode.